Steph.
And I'm Joel.
And welcome to Framed
Canvas Cuffs.
and Other Stuffs.
Season 2, baby.
Woo!
We're back. Enjoy the episode. Dancing through life, having a cocktail. I don't know the words besides dancing through life.
Yeah, neither do I. How about you, Joel? The 30-minute version of Defying Gravity. Just
Is there one? No one wants to hear us talk about Wicked.
Well,
There's enough chit-chat about Wicked.
People have thoughts, people have feelings, and we don't need to be part of the conversation yet.
We just like it.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Enjoy it.
It's fun. It's a good movie. It's no harm, no foul.
No foul. Massive controversy comes out like literally the week this drops. We're like, God damn it.
We've been through the whole Wicked thing on this podcast. We were like doing this podcast when they like just started their press.
Yep.
All the way to now, to the second movie's about to come out.
Technically, I think we've been out for 12 months. We've been out for 12 months only.
Only 12 months?
I believe so.
No.
I know.
Been doing this for 3 years.
Feels like a lifetime. Oh, just the gals having a good time.
I'm really relaxed.
Oh, did you take some of Kenzo's?
Yeah, maybe I should have eaten out of Kenzo's dog food bowl with his anxiety medication.
I walk in, you're like, get away, Steph.
Get away. Don't look at me.
How's your week been, Joel?
Good, busy.
Busy, busy, boo.
Lots of work, lots of dancing.
Love it.
We've got our performance coming up soon. I'm sure I've talked about it on the podcast already. So lots of rehearsals. We're trying to get it tight and right.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is it? Honey, Step Up. All of those movies come to mind.
Yes. Well, the song that we are dancing to is from the movie Honey. Very fitting.
Yes.
Got
to save the studio.
And the second, I'm not going to say anymore.
All right. Be surprised.
You're going to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
What are you recommending this week?
Oh, okay. So I brought my phone in with me, which is against the rules. No, we never made a
We
rule
have
about
strict
that.
rules here.
Triple J are doing a Hottest 100 of Australian music.
Oh.
I was looking, like everyone was posting their top 10s and all this kind of stuff. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to vote for this. Like it's across the board. Like it's across all the eras.
Oh my goodness.
It's like
so many.
Yeah. It's like when they did the Hottest 100 of all time, but these are all Australian artists.
Clever.
And so I was like looking through the list of all the ones you could vote for. And I was just having a real nostalgia trip. I was like, oh my God, I haven't heard this song in so long.
Yes.
So I decided to vote.
Ooh.
So a lot of people were doing it in the way in what they think should be.
Yeah.
Just by like, that song should definitely be in the Hottest 100. Like you got your John Farnham's, you got your In Excess, all that kind of stuff. Like ones, Midnight Oil, ones that you are just like, well, that has to be in there.
Yeah.
But I kind of tailored it to what I listened to throughout the different eras.
Yeah.
And I tried to do a mix of like older stuff and semi-new stuff that I listened to.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that like early on in my life, like a lot of the music I was consuming was Australian.
Yeah.
We had great music. Well, we still do.
Yeah. But there was a period of time where we were more probably invested in Australian music.
Absolutely. And like definitely an era of Triple J that we did listen to. So shall I take you through?
Take me through.
So should I take you? I'll go from the bottom of my top 10 to the top. And I reckon you'll know majority of these songs.
Okay.
Okay, so coming in at number 10. And this was a hard one. Something for Kate, Monsters.
Yep.
Cause these monsters spin me around, get me down.
I want one of those little clips for every single song.
Yes,
you
I will. Just to re-jog everyone's memory. And also the lead singer of Something for Kate, what is his name? Paul Dempsey is just a tall drink of water. And I've just had a crush on him forever. Yeah. Coming in at number 9 is Andy Bull, Keep On Running.
Do I know it if I heard it?
I try so hard it isn't funny. Tell me how I should have done it. You might not know it.
don't know if
remember
I know
I
it.
came across him when I was in my first year at RMIT Village, because I didn't actually go to RMIT. I just lived at their college, at their uni
In that
campus.
tiny single bed.
Yeah, because I went to like a photo school in a shed
Yes.
somewhere, but for somehow I made it work that I could live at RMIT Village. Anyway.
You know what? You make it work in those days.
And I came across Andy Bull, and he's just this great young songwriter. And yeah, he had an interesting. He was quite handsome as well. Maybe I'm just hot for my whole list.
Yeah. Tell me the one that you're not sexually attracted to, and that's the it's more the game.
Yeah. But Andy Bull, Keep On Running. People playing at home, listen to these songs.
Listen to these songs.
You'll get a little bit of a taste of my life and my story. Then coming in at number 8 is Gautier. But I didn't do somebody that I used to know.
Because surely everyone's going to put that one in.
That's going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
I do like the song, but my favorite song by Gautier is Heart's a Mess.
Oh, I love that song.
The production, everything, it just takes you on a journey. There's like orchestral moments. There's that little like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. It's just, but it's so like the way that he sings is so like, he like aches.
Yeah.
It's very like emotional.
You can feel someone's hurt him. Who hurt you, sir?
Oh, I literally just got goosebumps. Coming in at number 7 is Special Ones by George.
No, I don't think I know.
So rather than being kicked around, I'm going to kick you to the curb. So rather than being pushed around, I'm going to push you away first. You don't know George?
I feel like
Katie Noonan?
surely, but no, I don't. It's not ringing my bell.
Well, funnily enough, I got this album, Polly Serena by George, when I was in year 6 in primary school.
Right.
And it wasn't really like music that year sixes were listening to at the time. It wasn't a hit machine.
Yeah,
it wasn't anything like that.
We were listening to like Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain.
But I remember, I think it might have been they did a TV performance maybe on The Panel or something like that. And I remember saying to my mum, oh my God, I love this. And they bought me the album.
I feel like SJ needs to be in the room for this because she'll know every single one of these.
I know. I wish he was here. But the dogs are being little cheeky boys. We all know this one. Coming in at number 6 is My People by The Presets.
We know it well.
Very pivotal part of our time. We were teenagers growing into adults. We might have been adults by that.
Technically, we might have been adults.
Yeah,
but
we would have been like 19 or 20, maybe 21.
At the club.
At the club, it was just such a banger.
Yep.
If you haven't heard The Presets, My People, maybe younger listeners, it still holds up today. It's so good. It's just got that driving synth.
I feel like everyone in their minds just went,
5.
The halfway point.
Yes. We've got Ben Lee.
Oh.
I didn't do Catch My Disease or any of that. I don't like those songs. But he has an amazing song, and I think it was maybe his breakout song. It's called Cigarettes Will Kill You.
Yep. I know that one well. I wanna be embraced.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
That is a very like emotion. It's got a feeling, and it just when you hear that dun dun dun, it's like everyone in Australia goes, oh.
Yeah. And I think that song came out around the time where like Oasis was doing their thing. Maybe The Verve with Bittersweet Symphony. It's got very that kind of vibe about it. This is kind of more modern. At number 4, I've got Amyl and the Sniffers' Hurts.
Yep.
Which is just ultimately like pub rock.
Yep.
Awesome female lead singer. Super Australiana. It's really good.
Yep. If you haven't checked out Amyl and the Sniffers, which I believe we've mentioned before. And also just like they practice what they preach. What they say in their songs, they're saying out loud everywhere else. So I appreciate.
All right. Sorry for this is taking too long, but I love it. I'm happy with my selection. Number 3 is a very important song to me. It's Josh Pike, Memories and Dust. There's a lyric in this song. Josh Pike is an amazing lyricist. And the way that he makes his lyrics take you back to a nostalgic part in your like Australian upbringing in your childhood. Like he beautifully illustrates kind of Australian suburbia in his music. And he really paints a picture with it. And this song, he has a line and it's, in the morning, I can smell you on my pillow. I need to know we won't get wrung out in the wash.
Oh.
And it just
hits you in the heart. It just
hits you because I don't know. There's something about it that's so poetic and beautiful. I really like it. Number 2, Killing Heidi. Weird.
Oh, what a song.
Yeah.
What a song.
Sorry for everyone for singing along to these, but I really like it. Yeah.
Oh, what a song.
Killing Heidi, just friggin' rock.
What an Australian.
And they're touring at the moment. I think they're touring their Revolver album, which is the album with all of these, like Mascara, Weir, all of those.
Their big album, I guess.
Number 1, any guesses?
There's so many that I feel like.
What do you reckon you would have as your number 1?
Oh God, I don't even know.
Yeah, there's too many.
There's too many.
This,
you know, like Hilltop Hoods,
nosebleed section.
That's going to be up there, and you know it.
A lot of people had nosebleed sections in their list, and I'm like,
you know what? That is very Australiana.
Yeah.
But I guess who have we not?
There were a few like contenders that didn't make my list, like Brother by Matt Corby.
Oh, yep.
There were a few by the Teskey Brothers, which I feel like should have been in there, but they just didn't make the cut.
Just didn't make the cut. I feel like for me personally, if I was to put together, I think technically not Australian, so I don't think.
Were you going to say Kimbra?
No, I was going to say Crowded House, but I feel like they'd fall into New Zealand, no?
Yeah, but you can vote for Crowded House.
But just so you know, New Zealand, we always claim your best exports as our own. Lord, she's not yours.
I'm pretty sure Crowded House, you're able to vote for it.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. That would be somewhere in my top 10, I feel. Lord, can you vote for Lord?
I don't know. I didn't see Lord in there.
She said, you know what? New Zealand all the way.
Yeah.
You can't be claiming everyone. All right. Who's your number 1, Joel? Drum roll.
Think Australian iconic bands kind of blowing up around the mid to late 90s into the 2000s.
There was Silverchair.
That's
it.
I did Tomorrow by Silverchair.
Oh, yeah.
You wait to tomorrow. This is probably a big call, but I would call them maybe Australia's Nirvana.
Yeah, you could probably make the
maybe
they could make them the comparison.
Yeah, maybe Australia's Incubus, but yeah, Tomorrow by Silverchair was, I think, one of their breakout songs from their album Frog Stomp. And yeah, just the way that Daniel John's voice like soars over the crunchy guitars. It almost sounds like it was recorded in like a garage. It's very like loud. There's like all the levels are all at once. So the guitars are as loud as the vocals, and it's just a real powerhouse song. And I friggin' love it.
Silverchair. And what's the other band that is like
Powderfinger?
Powderfinger.
Yeah. I was gonna chuck some Powderfinger in there. I would have done My Happiness, I think.
They did a massive tour together, probably back when we were in high school, and they did all they did all around Australia and hit Albury. They came to Albury as well. And it was just like, great. You know, just those two bands together was this very specific like feeling in Australia.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes, these are just songs that are little like pinpoints in my life that I have a connection with all of them. And then I posted it on Instagram. I, tagged the artists or whatever. And then I had Katie Noonan, the lead singer of George, say thanks, mate.
Cute.
And Andy Bull. They were the only two who messaged.
Yeah, but just like, we're busy.
Yeah.
It's nice though. And I think
nice. And going through the list, I was like, I was like, I need to make a Spotify playlist of like all these songs that I've kind of forgotten about.
Yes.
Because there's so many good songs in there.
And it's especially important. I think this is a good thing, because it means that all of these people are going to like either remember like you have and refine these bands and stuff and could give them a second lease on life with touring and things like that. And also younger people get to find out about all of and go, oh, that's Australian? You know how sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't realise that's an Australian artist.
And I think there will be like a resurgence in that kind of music because people our age now are all having young children. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these bands are touring their older albums. So, you know, take your kids along to see Killing Heidi and take them to like a
Everyone's going to go
rock
see
concert.
AC/DC because now they're doing a big tour. Did you see that?
But did you see they look a bit tired.
Yeah. But did you see Amel and the Sniffers are supporting?
Oh, really?
I believe so.
That's huge for them.
Massive. So good on them.
Yes.
But they do look a little bit. You got to make your
I wonder
money.
what the current AC/DC crowd would think of they'd love Amel and the Sniffers, I'm sure.
And if they don't know, they're going to know.
Yeah. Listeners, I'd be keen for you guys to, you know, share what you would put in your top 10 if you've already done it or not.
Yeah.
I'm loving chatting about all of this with people too.
Yeah, because you get a real nostalgia.
Yeah,
and like
nostalgia hit.
Especially when growing up.
Yeah.
You know, growing up in Australia is a particular vibe. And I love it.
Yeah, like the songs you listened to when you first got your red peas and you had that independence and when all you did was listen to Triple J really. Like we used to listen to the radio.
Yes. You didn't
all
have
the time.
Streaming services for music really.
No. You'd listen to radio, you'd go to so many festivals. There were so many festivals every single year.
Out.
Big Day Out, Future Music, Soundwave, Park Life, like just so Golden Plains, so many festivals. Oh, those were the days, weren't they? Sorry, my recommendation went on for a really long time, but I really wanted to talk about it.
I like it. And when are they releasing the countdown, I guess? When are they doing the countdown?
Well, the voting... There's 13 days to go on the voting. I don't know.
Well,
I'll have to check it. I'll have to check that out so I can, you know, listen to it. It'll be, I'm assuming, on a weekend because we don't really have any public holidays coming up.
Nope.
But it'll be a good countdown because I'll finally know the music that Hottest 100 is playing for the first time in like 5 years.
Yeah, because...
So I don't listen to the new stuff. And the new stuff that I do listen to is probably not really Triple J. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Joel.
Oh, Steph, no worries.
And scene.
How about you? What are you recommending?
I'll keep it short and sweet because you've already recommended before. Went and saw Beetlejuice.
Oh, Beetlejuice.
Highly recommend. It's great. Go and see it if you haven't.
Yes.
Joel's already recommended it, but this is your reminder
to
go and see it. If you like Book of Mormon, you'll like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
There is
funny.
Very funny. I've kind of anti-musical in my mind because it's very self-aware of what it's doing, and I like that.
They break the fourth wall quite a few times.
It's
good. Was Eddie Perfect in your one?
Yeah, Eddie Perfect. And the guy because throughout the show he keeps pointing to someone in the audience being like, this guy knows it. And throughout the whole show, every time he did it, there was a guy at the front and he'd hold up his beer and be like, And then the last time he did it, he goes, this guy always with a beer, and he held up two and he goes, fuck me, mate, that's amazing. Like he really went from being Beetlejuice to Eddie Perfect for a second. It was funny. So yeah, highly recommend. Also went and saw, I'm going to roll in another one.
Hadestown.
Hadestown. Went and saw Hadestown. So
what'd you think?
I liked it. Now, there's 3 of us that went. One of my friends, she loved it, would instantly go back and see it. I liked it and would go back and see it in a couple of years. That's my thought process. SJ hated it.
Oh,
so there was a real spread across the board. I think because it's
this porridge is too hot.
This porridge is too cold. But this porridge is just right. I liked it because I like a bit of a love story. It was very it was more so a serious musical, it's a very musical, funny moments, but just a bit more we are a musical and that's what we're putting on.
Yep.
And it is a Greek mythology story about essentially about the relationships and circle of life and seasons, which all rolled into one, a lesson. They tell you at the start of the show pretty much this is not going to end well, so just be prepared.
Oh.
And bless the people behind us had seen the show so many times. Like I think this was their 7th watch, which is they loved this musical. But still when it got to the end, it was like they were shocked. And I was like, I'm not even shocked and I haven't seen this before. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I would recommend seeing it if you feel the need to go to go and see something where you go, wow, that's the staging of that's really cool.
Yes.
Just be ready for a lot of reprisal, which just means playing the same song a bit over and over.
Oh, yes. The same song kind of carries through the whole thing. I think they did that with Jesus Christ Superstar as well.
Yeah, and I think that kind of, I was like, oh, we could have tightened this up a little bit and maybe it would have made it more impactful. But you know what? I quite enjoyed it. I would see it again.
Fantastic.
And yeah, that's my thoughts and feelings.
I literally have no idea anything about Hadestown other than the fact that Lockie loved it.
Yeah.
And now you liked it.
Yes.
It's pretty positive. Pretty positive reviews so far.
And yeah, it's a musical. It's a like a musical, whereas Beetlejuice is not. So if you're someone who's not really into musicals, go and see Beetlejuice. But if you're someone who loves a musical and maybe loves like a Les Mis or something, go and see Hadestown.
Okay.
Interestingly enough as well, they were both nominated in 2019 for the Tony and Hadestown won over Beetlejuice.
Oh,
which I don't necessarily agree with, but who am I? Who am I to judge?
I liked Beetlejuice a lot. It didn't blow my mind.
Yeah.
There were some bits in it that I thought were a bit cornball.
Yeah, fair.
But I did enjoy it. But yeah, I don't know, Tony. I don't know.
I know, but
I don't know, staging and stuff like that was
the staging
impeccable.
Is 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just found it interesting that we finally got these musicals over here in the same year.
I know.
And they were competing against each other in 2019. So there you are. All right, Josh.
Wonderful stuff.
Whoa.
Great music and theatre. Look at us.
Cultured. Educated. Whereas I'm like, I like the musical where they're like, we punched a baby. I'm like, yes, culture. You ready to jump into today's episode?
Let's go.
Woo!
I'm feeling spongy.
Whoa! Let's learn. All right. Today, Joel, we're going to be peeling back the layers on one of pop culture's most serene and beloved figures.
Mm-hmm.
For many...
Serene. Serene Dion.
Yes. This lollygager. For so many of us, his gentle voice, iconic perm, and incredible ability to make anyone feel like an artist created a half-hour oasis of tranquility. A place where...
I'm trying to picture who it is. No, continue. I'll stop interrupting.
No, you can try and guess. I'll keep going until you guess it. And we get to the end of the episode and I'm like,
Sebastian.
And his name. A place where happy little trees and calm reflections brought unexpected joy. His impact was truly unexpected. It went way beyond just art instruction to become a global phenomenon. You hear his voice, you think of happy little accidents, and immediately, like a sense of calm, it just washes over you. He really cultivated a persona that resonated deeply with millions. Joel, do you know who we're speaking about?
Bob Ross.
Yes, we're going to be talking about Bob Ross today.
Amazing. See, I know about Bob Ross. Never once watched a Bob Ross thing ever.
Interesting.
Ever in my life. I just know about him.
You just know that he's around. He's in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, and people love him.
People really love him. He had a real strong fan base. So our mission today is to go far beyond the serene landscapes. We're going to uncover the fascinating and, while at times surprisingly contentious story of the man himself.
Ooh.
His meteoric rise to global fame and the very surprising and complex battle over his legacy. So don't worry.
He's no longer with us.
He's no longer with us, which is surprising that you among many would not know that. So, yes, we are going to be talking about Bob Ross today and the kind of, don't worry, he's not a bad man. I'm going to preface that at the top.
Yeah, there's always like a bit about me that's like, oh God, what's he done?
80s and 90s man. No, he's not a bad man. And by all accounts, just as like lovely as he was seen on TV. So Yeah,
we never know behind closed doors.
Oh God, please no! I hope something breaks immediately when we release this. I'm like, God damn it, Bob Ross. Alrighty, so let's start off before the little happy clouds and trees. Bob Ross wasn't always a serene painter. He was born Robert Norman Ross in 1942 in
Rob Ross
at Daytona Beach, Florida.
Oh, cool.
He was raised by his carpenter father, Jack, and waitress mother, Ollie, in Orlando. So pretty much blue-collar upbringing.
Yes.
Nothing too, crazy.
Daytona Beach always reminds me of that Daytona car ride game that used to be at... Like you'd go out for dinner sometimes to like the Springdale Heights Tavern or something, and they'd have those like car simulators.
Oh yes,
and it'd be like Daytona,
and you're like,
yeah. You're
like, I'm racing cars in a country I've never been to.
Yes.
So even as a child, Bob showed a real connection to nature and had like this kind of real serene spirit, I guess, about him. He often was cared for injured animals such as armadillos, snakes, alligators, squirrels. So he often looked after injured, even foxes. There's footage of him just helping. I know.
And they've got some crazy ass animals in Florida.
Oh, yeah. And you're allowed to own them, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
So one of his pet squirrels, Peapod, actually made an appearance on the show later on.
Well, that is just darling.
And there's footage, and we'll try and find it, but there's little footage where he's like, and here's my friend Peapod, and he just like has a little like thing, and Peapod literally comes out of his pocket. It's so cute. Stop. Like he's like little, like it's like he's like Snow White, and he like sings and like a bird lands on his hand.
Peapod is the cutest name for a squirrel.
Oh my God.
So
cute. Bob actually dropped out of high school in 9th grade, and then he worked with his father as a carpenter. It was during this time that he actually lost part of his left index finger, which is kind of remarkable. So if you go back and watch footage, you might notice he's holding a palette. Got a little finger missing, part of his finger missing. But the most surprising part of his early life, and one that really shaped his public persona, was his military career.
Ah, okay.
So at 18 in 1961, Bob Ross enlisted in the United States Air Force. So he started as a medical records technician, and he actually was in the Air Force for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. He rose the ranks and eventually became a master sergeant and served as the first sergeant in a clinic in an Air Force base up in Alaska. So
with
that
little Peapod in his pocket
in
his little flight outfit.
Oh my God, he's got a little. Oh my God, he's got a little hat on.
Got his little hat with his goggles.
That's so cute. The Adventures of Peapod and Bob. Just
got a little rifle.
Oh my God. Bing, bing. He was directly responsible for the morale, welfare, discipline of everyone under his command. And these roles demanded constant attention, sternness, and efficiency. So not the gentle Bob Ross that we know today.
No, you can't be gentle.
Not in...
You have to be stern.
You've got to be stern and strict.
Get them into shape.
Yes. Those boys. Step... I don't know. I don't know anything about, like, anytime there's like kind of an Air Force ad or something, I'm just like, step right, left. And I was like, nope, that's wrong.
I'm sure they march still.
Something about it. He needed to be incredibly efficient with his time, and he often painted briefly during his work breaks. And because of his schedule, this forced him to develop a rapid fire technique, which will come into play later on in his career.
It's like, got to paint quick.
He's got to paint it quick because he's got to get back to those boys and Peapod the squirrel. So this experience in the Air Force kind of led him to make a vow that he decided he would never raise his voice again after leaving the military.
Oh.
No. He made a conscious decision to kind of shape his persona to be more gentle, and would later adopt that and make this kind of his appeal when it came to Bob Ross the painter. So it was kind of like he wanted to reinvent himself once he left, which is kind of nice.
That's so nice.
I know. So this brings us to the kind of genesis to the joy of painting, which So he was still, at this point in the story, he's still in the Air Force, but he's becoming more interested in art. So he attended an art class at a USO club. He stumbled upon a TV show called The Magic of Oil Painting, hosted by a German painter, Bill Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
So this show was very similar to eventually what Bob Ross would kind of do as well,
Yep.
which was just a man would stand there and he's kind of walking you through how to paint like him through a TV show, which these kind of TV shows in the 80s and 90s were more common because, you know, there was a lot more, I guess, like PBS and stuff. They were looking for stuff to put on.
Yep.
And these shows would just...
Lots of crafty shows and things like that.
I don't want to say wholesome, but the content was very different at that point because they had more time to fill, I guess.
Yeah. It wasn't all Kardashians and my 200-pound cousins.
90-day fiancés and none
my
of
200-pound 90-day fiancés.
Hashtag produced by Kardashians.
Yeah. Dance Mums Take Miami.
To be fair, would watch.
No, watch someone paint.
So this was kind of when he found Bill Alexander, it became a real kind of moment of inspiration. Alexander used a 16th century technique known as alla prima, which is kind of described as wet on wet. Not wet on Wellington.
Yes, I knew it. I knew you were going to say wet on Wellington. I knew it as soon as you said wet on wet.
Wet on wet. So this is
I've never heard of that place before in my entire life. I don't know what you're talking about.
I go to church on Sundays. So it's a 16th century technique and it was applying wet paint on top of wet paint. So the colors blend on the canvas and you only need like a minimal palette. It's a very kind of direct and quick way of painting. And
because you don't need to premix.
You don't need to premix. You're not having to wait for the layers to dry. You could paint, and Bob Ross would paint a landscape in 30 minutes.
I just feel like my whole canvas would just turn brown. Everything's just brown and pea green.
We should do a Bob Ross.
Yes.
And see.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Extra content.
Yes.
Let's do a Bob Ross painting thing.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
We could do, you know that viral thing at the moment, how the couples are like painting each other?
Oh my God.
And then they like turn the canvas around and show each other?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
How about we do both of those things?
Let's do both of those things. All right. Someone write that down. Team.
Anyone?
A monkey with a typewriter.
It's just banging symbols together. It's like, I'm on it, guys.
Good job, Bobo.
Bob Ross would then study and master this technique and apply it to Alaskan landscapes that he painted. He originally started painting these on novelty gold mining pans and then would go to the local markets and sell them.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's making
That's cute.
Yeah. He's kind of starting this little empire. And from there, he ended up selling so many of these little like gold pans at these markets that he started to surpass his military salary. So
whoa,
I know
they must have been selling, or his military salary was very terrible.
Low.
Yeah,
you know what? Column A, column B, I'd say. So this led him to make the big leap, and in 1981, after 2 decades of service, he actually retired from the Air Force. So this was kind of like the pivotal moment in his life. So after retiring, he returned to Florida, and he actually ended up studying with Bill Alexander. And joined Alexander's magic. So Bill Alexander had a company.
Is he the German guy?
He's the German guy.
Yeah.
So he went and became friends with him and studied under him. And then what would happen is Bill Alexander would have his TV show and then he'd have people going around America teaching classes for him. And they were like certified teachers.
Yep.
And he got Bob Ross to do that for him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it kind of became.
Nice little foot in the door.
Yeah. Ross is traveling around America. He's teaching people these classes on how to paint just like Bill Alexander. And then in one of these classes, one of the people attending these classes is a woman named Annette Kowalski. Now, the Kowalskis are going to become a big player in this whole story. Annette was attending a painting session just after grieving the loss of her son. And she kind of was absolutely struck by Bob's, I guess,
manner.
Yeah, and charisma and how he connected with people.
Mm-hmm.
So she famously said, I don't know what you've got, but I think we ought to bottle it and sell it. So
you got it, kid.
You got it, kid. You're going to be a star. So Bob was with his then wife, Jane, and with Jane, Annette, and Annette's husband, Walt. They pulled all their savings together, and more so Annette and Walt put a lot of funding behind Bob Ross. And they said, we will create this company called Bob Ross Incorporated, and we're going to sell your story. Yeah, this is kind of where Bob Ross stopped, I guess, maybe being a person and started to become like this kind of company and identity.
Yeah, yep.
So but this wasn't like they went, yep, let's do it, and then he was instantly famous. He wasn't famous at this point. He was still kind of just traveling the circuit, teaching people, and they're struggling for money in these early days of Bob Ross Incorporated.
Yeah, pretty big leap to go to a class and then organize everyone to chuck their savings into this one guy. Like he must have just had that thing.
He's got that thing. He's got that star, charisma, uniqueness, nerve and talent.
He is cunt.
He is cunt. Bob Ross is cunt. So in the early days, they were struggling with money. And fun fact, this is how he got his perm. It was actually a cost-cutting measure because he would just go and get his hair permed because it was cheaper than having to go and get regular crew cuts. I know.
He loves just finding out a quick way to do stuff.
And that perm, he had to stick with that for the rest of his life.
So that's not natural.
That is not a natural hairstyle.
Okay.
That is a perm.
Yeah, right.
It's a manly perm. Bob, Jane, and his son.
T-Mars.
Hadn't put that together, but yeah, true. Bob, Jane, and his son Steve also moved into the Kowalski home to save money. So they all kind of living together as one family unit. Jane is actually Bob's second wife, and Steve, his son, is from his first wife and marriage. So that's his stepmom, I guess. And then in 1982, a pilot episode of his art class aired on a station in Falls Church, Virginia, but this was kind of just used as an advertiser. They bought an ad spot and then he just painted on this, I guess. They bought an allotted time period on PBS and they said, all right, Bob Ross, this is just you advertising your classes to get more people through the door. They didn't think, we're going to make a TV show out of it.
Yeah, okay.
This is kind of just a first step. But somebody saw it, a manager at PBS saw it and said, you should make this into the show and we'll air it. So this is where the joy of painting officially began. So it was all kind of by chance, I guess. They hadn't really thought this is how we'll do it. But then once somebody said you should do it, they were like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So they're back in Florida in 89. Bob's still traveling around to make money through classes, but he would come back and he'd film like 3 shows in like one day.
Yeah, right.
So do 3 paintings because they would only take about 28 minutes to paint. So they do that, and he actually didn't get paid for that filming process. He never really got paid for the show. He knew it was just to open the door for more people coming to his classes, to get the word out, that kind of thing. The show actually ran, so that first season was kind of about maybe like 10 episodes, but the show ran from January 11th, 1983 to May 17th, 1994. Wow. And had 31 seasons.
Wow. And from memory, from the little bits that I've seen, isn't it just him with a black backdrop and a canvas?
Yes, and the reason why it was a black backdrop was they filmed it in their living room.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And they put a sheet up just to kind of cover the fact that
he loves that.
He loves
stuff.
You know what?
No fluffing about.
No, he's saving his pennies.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was because they literally were just filming in his home.
Yeah.
And apparently just he'd get in, do this painting, and everyone would just be in awe of what he was.
Because they could have made it this big, sexy, slick show.
Nope, none of that.
Yeah.
Just a guy, his paintbrush and his canvas.
Nice.
It is nice. And his director at the time, apparently she'd give him like a 2-minute warning once it kind of got to that 28-minute mark. And every time, she said, without fail, when she gave that 2-minute warning, he'd be like, all right, now it's time for a giant tree. And in the center, pretty much in the center of the painting, he'd like start to draw this giant tree to like give perspective. And she's like, every time I was like, fuck, he's not going to finish it in time. Like, I'm stressed. She's like, without fail, by the 250th episode, she was still like, can you not put the tree in?
This poor woman.
She's stressed.
The only person getting completely stressed out by the Bob Ross show. No, Bob. She's in an institution.
She's like, this Bob's going to drive me mad. Everyone's like so calm, so relaxing. Each half-hour segment, Bob was instructing viewers on how to create these complex scenes and would do it directly from his imagination. In the first season, he'd have a canvas off to the side as a reference, but by season 2, he was just doing it from his mind, which is insane. He kind of demystified the whole process and broke it down simple enough that anyone could do it, and used a limited palette, so everything was quite affordable. It was a real accessible way of getting people to do art. And it was his philosophy that I think resonated with more people, that was kind of like, you don't actually have to be talented to do this. Anyone could do it. Yeah. I'll show you how, and we'll, make some little happy trees. And he's talking through this whole, I guess 30-minute period of just like, it's just calm, it's pleasant.
Yeah.
He's like really kind of like, you can do it, don't worry. It's all kind of nice.
Okay, Bob.
Okay, Bob, I can do it.
My whole canvas is brown.
This is where he kind of made this iconic phrase, we don't make accidents, we just have happy we don't make mistakes, we just have happy accidents.
Oh.
I know.
I could start crying.
Bob. His calm demeanor was a conscious and deliberate choice, a stark contrast to the Bill Alexander, who was the first guy who had that TV show.
The German guy.
The German guy. So he wanted to make it the exact opposite. So whereas Bill was quite harsh with everything, Bob was calm. He identified that his audience was predominantly female. So he's, the way he spoke, he said when he thought about when he was speaking on camera, he was just thinking of speaking of like to one woman. And that's how he kind of spoke to the whole audience.
That's nice.
Yeah. And I think that's like what we do now when we kind of speak to camera. It's like we're speaking to a large audience.
Yeah.
The thing that made him special is he knew he was just speaking to one person.
Yeah. When we record this podcast, I'm just picturing that I'm talking to
the millions
to one gigantic woman.
My 200-pound 90-day fiance
takes Miami.
Oh dear. So he was making these personal connections through the screen. He often humorously would make like flirtatious little jokes, and there's this one kind of thing. It's going to sound weird trying to describe what he'd do, but in order to create the wet on wet in order to create the wet on wet kind of look and vibe, you need to use a lot of paint thinner. So what he would do is he'd dip his brush in the paint thinner, and then he'd like thwack it against the side of the easel, and he'd say he was beating the little devil out of it, and it was cheeky boy. And so I mean, he'd do like cheeky smiles, he'd wink to camera, he knew what he was doing. And apparently he was kind of this character off screen. He was maybe a little bit more exuberant and, had a real zest for life.
Yep.
But he was flirtatious. He was warm. He was approachable. Everyone who met him said like he was exactly what they pictured.
Oh, that's good.
Which is nice. And he just kind of continued to paint for like, when I say these seasons, there was like so many episodes per season.
Yeah, and you said he did 31.
He did 31, and like I think by the 17th season they were already on like 250 episodes or something. Like there's hundreds and hundreds of these episodes. Despite Bob dedicating the first season of Bob the Magic, no, that's the other one.
Bob the Magic
Bob
School
the
Bus.
Magic Dragon. Besides dedicating Bob's first, oh my God, I've so lost the plot.
No, good, fun.
So Bob
Happy accidents,
no mistakes. So Bob dedicated the first season of his program, The Joy of Painting, to Bill Alexander, and acknowledging him as his teacher and teaching him this wet on wet technique. However, the relationship kind of got strained the more Ross saw popularity because he kind of was outdoing the master, essentially.
Gotcha.
He was making more money, he's becoming more famous, that kind of thing. Eventually eclipsed his mentor. So Alexander felt a deep sense of betrayal, and he famously told the New York Times in 1991, "I invented the wet on wet technique and I trained him and he thinks he can do it better," which I get, but he also didn't create that. This is like a renaissance.
Yeah, it's been a technique for ages.
Yeah, he started to popularize it. And
talking about it on TV first.
And then Bob Ross made it even more popular. So it's kind of like, you didn't come up with the technique.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit like, I get it, but also, no, it's been around for many a century. The Kowalskis they took over the business side of things, and they thought more about how to make money off this show, because the show alone is not making money. It's everything that goes along with it.
Yes.
Bob Ross Incorporated, or BRI, kind of grew into a $15 million enterprise that's to now. They promoted art supplies, class recordings, expanded to like a huge network of classes taught by other artists who were certified in the Bob Ross method. And they built partnerships with, there was like a specific like paint brand, and they built the partnership with that, and they would like produce Bob Ross paints.
Yes.
So if you're going to paint like Bob Ross, you go to them and you could get the
your
whole
Bob
palette.
Ross paints.
Yeah, pretty much. So apparently as well, this kind of created a bit of a rift because Bob Ross wanted the stuff that he was promoting, like the paints and everything, to be of high quality, something that he would actually use.
Yeah.
Whereas that is still somewhat expensive. The margin is not quite as high as you'd want it to be. Whereas the Kowalskis were more like, we want to make money, therefore if we
use
sell
cheap product.
Yeah. So while Bob Ross is alive, that kind of, he has, I guess he can be like, no, actually, you're going to have to put more money into the paint.
Because we want quality.
Yeah. So that's, I guess, a little bit of where tensions start to rise.
I wonder if they're still available.
I believe so. I believe the BRI is still around.
Okay.
Ross and his wife, I guess, they are still really like in with the Kowalskis. It's not like they're running two separate things, but they're kind of like, Bob, you go and do all the creative stuff. We'll handle the money. Don't worry about it. As a side note, Walt Kowalski, he was ex-CIA operative.
Oh.
So he would record everything.
Yep.
Every phone call, every business meeting, he's recording.
Wired. He's tapped in.
He's tapped in. And they start to really scale the merch side of the business. This is kind of where the story gets a bit more like complex. I've read a few articles and like watched a documentary around this. The documentary is heavily swayed that Bob Ross was kind of like not really involved with, any of that kind of business side of things.
Yes.
He's just creative. He wants to create nice things. However, there is a handwritten memo from Ross to the Kowalskis around 1993, which actually kind of is like, talks about a show that he's about to do in like a big kind of class. And it kind of mentions, here's the merchandise section we should do. Here's a memo like of, these are the things we could sell. Maybe we could market therapy tapes, T-shirts.
Oh, therapy tapes is a great idea.
I know, meditation
I'd love
with
to
Bob.
hear him on tape.
Meditation with Bob Ross. Makes sense, right?
Just ASMR of him painting.
Yeah,
wet
exactly. On wet. Wet on wet. So, how they would use his voice, how they could make T-shirts, baseball caps, vests, aprons, easels, a whole range of items. So they're kind of saying he had no idea about this stuff.
But he did have ideas.
He did have ideas.
Yeah. I want some Bob Ross merch.
Well, you know what, Jill?
But I need to make sure that his estate is run by good people. Oh, okay. Let's read on.
As we continue. So it kind of complicates the whole idea that Bob Ross isn't aware of the money-making machine that is going on because, you know, we want to paint the picture that he doesn't know.
Paint the picture.
Paint the picture.
Well said.
But the reality is he's probably more aware than we think.
Yeah.
He's a business.
He has to have some idea.
He's smart. He's been in the Air Force.
Yeah.
He's got something going on up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, he also, just fun fact, besides being like super into nature, he also really enjoyed fast cars and had a 69
and fast women.
And fast women. He had a 69 Stingray that he'd just like take people out on jaw rides and like buy really nice fancy cars for himself, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
He was known to have quick wit, sharp sense of humor. He just really just wanted to be a really lovable person. So also, even though Bob Ross was bringing so much attention and kind of bringing the masses and the people to art, it was kind of important to note that the traditional art world really dismissed him.
Oh.
Yeah. They frequently labeled his work as kitsch or pizzeria art and implying it was unoriginal and just for commercial consumption and didn't really have any artistic merit.
Oh, God, art people can be such wankers.
They're such
Can't
wankers.
people just paint and enjoy it?
Honestly.
God, let people paint at home and enjoy it. Not everyone's going to become the next
Picasso.
Insert art name here.
Yeah, it's kind of like why...
It's like Labubu's. Let people enjoy stuff.
Just let people have Labubus.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's also just like such a thing of like, he's bringing so many people joy and so many people into the art world.
Yeah.
Who cares if that's how someone starts? What if they were the next Picasso and because of Bob Ross, they picked up a paintbrush, kind of came into the art world that way and then found this love of art and then became the next big thing.
When you're learning guitar, you learn your little, Yankee Doodle songs and whatever. You learn a bit of Smoke on the Water, but you're not going to go into learning guitar covering a Carlos Santana song.
Or maybe you would.
Or maybe you would. I was trying to think of a really good guitarist. Santana just popped into. He's fabulous.
You're like, oh, you don't say.
A girl from work bought me a Labubu.
Oh,
yeah, she's leaving.
Cute.
She's leaving to get married, and like we talk about them every now and again. And she showed up my desk, and she's like, "This is for you."
It wasn't a Lafufu.
It was the real deal. It was first gen.
Oh, fancy! I like that.
Yeah,
I like that you're known as the Labubu guy now.
I know.
Uh-oh. Here we go. So, yeah. Let people enjoy art. Let people enjoy Labubus.
I agree.
Now, let's kind of shift a little bit into Bob Ross's personal life because it ties into the intricacies of what happens later on. Mm-hmm. He was married 3 times. His first marriage was to Vivian and they had their son Steve. Then he got married to Jane, who was the one the wife he was with the longest.
Mm-hmm. From Bob Jane
Team Arts. And she kind of helped him build the business. But
Bob Jane Team Arts.
The name of the episode is Bob Jane Team Arts. And until they get to the 53-minute mark, they're not really going to understand. Jane obviously helped him build the business and the brand, but tragically, in 1992, she passed away from cancer. And apparently it was like a real, like he was devastated by that loss.
Bob.
And he continued to film his TV show. And there are moments within the TV show where he's like, thank you for all the letters about my wife.
God.
It's nice being able to hold this grief with you guys. Like he just seems like a nice,
sweetest man.
Boy. And then in 1995, Ross married his third wife, Linda Brown. He was an intensely private person. So as much as he gave himself on screen, it wasn't about him ever. It was, just kind of more prose and that kind of thing. He was also a pretty avid ciggy smoker and
Who wasn't
back then? But in a couple of years before the end of his life, and actually he passed away not like a few years after Jane passed as well. So it's not like Jane passed away. He got married quite quickly towards the end of his life, and then he passed.
Okay.
He was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he actually kept this diagnosis secret from the public for the whole rest of his life. No one knew except for people who were closest to him. And towards the end, he didn't even tell like his director of the show, who'd been with him from the start of the whole TV series. He didn't tell it till right towards the end because he's like, I didn't want you thinking about that whilst I'm painting.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want you having to deal with that in your mind. He kept his diagnosis pretty close to the chest, and from all accounts, when he got diagnosed, it was kind of like, you're on a timeline, buddy. You're going to pass away pretty quick. So it must have been quite in the like late stages of whatever it was. When he was diagnosed, it was almost like those last couple of years he went full, like he was like, we must record 3 episodes a day. He was really trying to churn out as much content as he possibly could while he was still able to. And he finished, so his final episode of The Joy of Painting aired in 1994. And those last few seasons, he was actively battling cancer whilst filming. So you might start to notice, he's but he starts to get a little bit frailer, that kind of thing. His final public television appearance was in 1995 when he was a guest on The Adventures of Elmer and Friends. You could actually see a visibly ill Ross, and he kind of was offering like a final heartfelt message of thanks to his fans. And although fans did not know that he was ill at the time, it's not like he denounced it or anything. So he was kind of like imparting wisdom right at the end. You could see like he's wearing a wig. He has those like visibly, what you get the hollow cheeks.
Yes,
he's looking ill, and that wig is a wig girl. So yeah, he passed away tragically at the young age of 52 on the 4th of July in 1995 in Orlando. And it was kind of weird because it was like the Kowalskis seemed
20 years ago today. Is today the 4th of July?
No, it was on Friday.
Oh.
Yesterday.
Oh, 20 years ago yesterday.
Oh, if we'd timed it better, we might have released the episode a little bit earlier. But
Is that 20 years, 1995?
Longer.
30. Holy smokes.
Me
were
too.
5.
We were 5. Always know how old I am due to the date.
Yep.
So the Kowalskis seem to try and keep his death a little bit on the down low, which is when at the start of the episode you said, I didn't realize he'd passed away.
Yeah.
It was because they kept it quite secret.
Okay.
Because it's that thought process of if your whole brand is based on one person and that person passes, does the brand die out?
Yes.
I think
it could go 2 different roads.
Exactly. I think at this point they were very worried about if he's disappeared, that brand will also disappear because people were so heavily invested. So only 30 to 40 of Bob's closest friends or families actually attended his funeral. And from all accounts, the Kowalskis didn't go at all. And a lot of them didn't find out until, after like a few weeks after they heard it in the news just randomly. And it's one of those things where the fans, like, because he had such emotionally attached parasocial kind of fans, it's sad that they also didn't get the opportunity to say farewell to him. Like,
I do think he did it in a good way though. I get that he would want to keep his program kind of like without his fans focusing on him being ill.
Agreed. Now, this brings us kind of to the post-mortem power struggle and where things get a little bit complicated. The terms of the Bob Ross Incorporated positioning, and this is kind of it had like a crucial succession clause. So basically, the death of any partner would result in the person's stock being equally divided among the remaining partners. So we've got two of the Kowalskis, and then we've got Jane and Bob Ross. So it's a equal standing. But when Jane dies and it gets split between three, essentially what happens is Bob Ross loses more control because the Kowalskis have half.
Yes. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's losing, I guess he's lost a vote. So if you're going into things being like, all right, we all need to decide and we all need to agree, it's now gone from equal footing to we can now run your business.
Yes.
So little things like maybe the paint manufacturing changes, maybe we push you to do other things that you might not have wanted to do. So it starts to get a little bit messy. Then when Bob passes away, Annette and Walt kind of legally gain sole ownership of this company.
Okay.
This kind of starts to set the stage for conflict because it meant Bob's own family and his son Steve had no direct claim to the company which he helped build.
Yeah, that's a bit shady.
Yeah, and they also have rights to own his name and identity.
Yeah.
Which feels a bit
icky.
So this is kind of where Steve's claims become significant, and he kind of paints a different picture of the Kowalskis' actions after Bob's death. So Steve alleges that the Kowalskis became aggressive towards Bob's family and associates, and they were kind of really only interested in using Ross's name for, paintings and supplies rather than upholding his broader mission and legacy. So apparently before his death, those last kind of couple of years, they really became quite aggressive in trying to get him to sign over his rights. And they really were pressuring him in his dying days, allegedly, I'm going to say.
Yes.
This is all from Steve, Bob's son, accounts. Like they were calling him every day trying to get him to sign over the rights to his name because they knew they were running out of time.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And what appears to be a direct response to this kind of pressure, Ross deliberately wrote the Kowalskis out of his will.
Oof.
And he left his estate and rights and his name and likeness to his son Steve and his half brother Jimmy.
Good. Old Jimmy.
Old Jimmy Cox. But the Kowalskis had a powerful counterclaim. They argued that everything Ross had created during his lifetime, his paintings, his image, his persona, they were all legally considered work for hire. So kind of what that means is via copyright law, if you create something as an employee within your scope of your job or under a specific contract, because Bob Ross created Bob Ross and all of his paintings under Bob Ross Incorporated,
yes.
The company, especially in America, the company owns that.
Yeah.
So if you work on company time on your own thing, technically the company you work for owns it.
Yes.
Regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
Even if
it's your name.
Yep. And even if they had no hand in it.
Yep.
In this case, they had a hand in it. But if you were, just working on something on like your company's time and dime, they technically own it.
Okay.
Little bit of a law thing happening in America. So what happened was once Bob had passed away, the Kowalskis sued because he gave his rights predominantly to his brother and his half brother and also his wife Jane. They immediately tried to sue them to make that lawsuit go away. Jane and his half brother kind of not Jane, Linda is his third wife.
Yes.
They signed away their kind of rights to that at that point and said, just make it go away. We don't need this right now.
Too much conflama.
Yeah, we're grieving. Just do what you need to do. So this kind of creates this really icky feeling after his death. And also there were other allegations, allegedly. I'm going to put this straight out there. There's other allegations too. So painting kind of a picture of the Kowalskis' business practices. Apparently anyone who posed as a threat to the brand, the Kowalskis immediately sued and got legal involved because they had a lot of money and they could, outsue everyone. There was also a kind of another TV show that was happening around the same time with Gary and Catherine Jenkins, and instead of doing landscapes,
they had them killed.
They literally locked them up in the basement and said, "You will not come out." They taught flower painting, and actually, at the beginning of Bob's series, he would often say, you can learn landscapes from me, but go over to the Jenkins to learn flower painting.
Yeah, because he's that kind of guy.
Yeah, he's just that kind of guy. Now, Annette claimed, the Jenkins claimed that Annette completely ripped them off and created like her own version of the flower painting TV show and also did an instruction manual, which is pretty much like picture, like ripped off from what they were doing.
Right.
So she kind of was like, well, I've got more money to be able to outperform you. I'm going to rip you off, take your thing, and all of the money and people will come to us now instead of going to you.
Damn.
And essentially the Jenkins like kind of lost their fortune over it, like what they were doing. And they, a former BRI employee even stated the Kowalskis had no desire whatsoever to spread happiness and feel good. They were only interested in the money.
Yes. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yes. It was also, there were allegations of them creating fake Bob Ross paintings. So creating paintings, signing them as Bob Ross and then selling them off.
Ooh.
Allegedly. And also Annette was reportedly the only qualified authenticator of a Bob Ross painting, which is incredibly like bad because it's like being like, well, the owner of the company is the only one who could be like, that's a real Bob Ross.
Yeah.
And
so she
like,
could kind of say anything's a real Bob Ross if she wanted to.
Exactly.
Because she's getting money regardless.
Yeah. 100%. I will state that BRI has consistently denied these allegations.
Bob Ross Incorporated. Joel speaking.
You're on the phones. You're tapped in. You're like, I've got a story for you guys. They shut down the podcast. This is the last episode we ever do.
No. Damn you, Bob Ross Incorporated.
So it is also alleged that maybe Bob and Annette had an affair.
No, they didn't. No, not my Bob.
Not my Bob. Not my Bobby boy. Also, that started to fracture the family unit well before Bob had passed away. So there's kind of a bit of a, maybe towards the end there was fractures already within this whole corporation. Steve, the son of Bob, in 2019, he actually tries to, so he wanted to start his own company, not using Bob Ross's name, but using his own name, but he didn't want them to sue him first because it would be more expensive. So he actually sued them first to get the rights back to Bob Ross's name. He pre-sued.
Okay.
And he filed another lawsuit and he tried to reassert control over his father's name and likeness. But unfortunately in 2019, he lost the appeal.
Oh.
And there was, however, I believe, a court-ordered mediation which maybe resulted in an undisclosed settlement. So maybe some money did change hands. Yep. But it also means that Bob Ross Incorporated is controlled officially by the Kowalskis, and they have won the right to use Bob Ross's name and likeness pretty much forever.
Okay.
To date, apparently Steve Ross has not received any profits from licensing or his father's image or his name, even though Bob, especially in those final years, tried to make clear efforts in his will to leave his legacy to his son.
Oh, that sucks.
It's a really kind of somber outcome for actual Bob Ross's family. And Steve stopped painting for a while after Bob passed away because he just couldn't. A, he didn't want to be sued by the Kowalskis, and B, he's probably pretty sad, but it was.
You can never pick up a paintbrush.
Never pick up a paintbrush.
Taken to jail.
I know, poor thing. After Annette and Walt retired, their daughter Joan actually took over the company of BRI, and they pursued a much more aggressive strategy, merchandising the Bob Ross in not just art products, but mass marketing the name and the image. from 2010 onwards, making him a pop culture icon that we kind of see everywhere.
Well, he's had a bit of a resurgence. I'm seeing him all over like social media and people reminiscing and all that kind of stuff.
And, they're making like chia pet, heads and like tea towels and
that's
aprons.
Fun. That is a bit of fun.
That is
even though they're a bit shady. That's a bit of fun. A little Bob Ross chia.
We should get one of those just to have it growing in the background. So they expanded to t-shirts, waffle makers. It's the kind of
waffle makers.
I know.
Okay,
they're going all in. It's the kind of commercialization that Steve said goes against his father's original intention. But Joan was actually behind the settlement with Steve Ross. And essentially she said, well, from what we can find out, that although they own Bob Ross's name and likeness, they would guarantee that Steve Ross could resume his art career and they wouldn't threaten him with lawsuits from now on.
But they still never paid him.
Yes.
So
it's
not that great.
Not that great.
Yeah.
But the settlement did give Steve the freedom to paint again, and it
everyone should have the freedom to paint.
But it meant that Steve felt like he could go back and do classes and be able to teach people.
So he wasn't even allowed to go do classes? Because of his name?
Yeah, because if he said, well, I'm Steve Ross, I'm the son of Bob Ross, you can learn how to paint. I learned from my dad, you can learn from me.
Yeah, right.
So
that's shitty.
I know. And also just to circle back, Steve Ross had actually featured in some of the episodes of Bob Ross's show.
Yeah.
And he would always be like, well, I'm going to leave my son here to paint for you kind of thing. So people knew about Steve.
Yeah.
There was a 2021 Netflix documentary which was called Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal and Greed, which outlines a lot of this story and how it goes more into depth of the lead up to the court case and then a little bit after. The filmmaker Joshua wanted to emphasize, this isn't like a gotcha piece on the Kowalskis. It's kind of more an exploration on, what happens when your name becomes bigger than you.
Yes.
Steve Ross in recent years has found his way back to painting. He's back to teaching. He finds joy in creating his own landscapes, and he acknowledges that painting is something that's in my blood.
Quite literally.
We see that Bob Ross as a powerful, enduring legacy, and during his likeness has permeated pop culture in many ways. We've seen him spoofed on Family Guys. He was even spoofed on
Family Guys.
Family Guys. Oh my God, sorry, I'm reading ahead and I'm like,
on the Family Guys.
He's the Family Guys. Deadpool 2. He was also, his 70th birthday was celebrated, and Google, you know how they changed the Google thing?
Aww.
They celebrated him through that. His image has been licensed for popular board games and even chia pets, as we know.
That's great.
His reach extends far beyond art supplies into the fabric of everyday pop culture. It's kind of like the resurgence really happened in 2019. COVID lockdowns happened. 2020, when COVID lockdowns happened.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of turned to Bob Ross to make them feel calm again.
Perfect.
And it was perfect. So it was kind of like it brought him into this new found show from the 80s and the 90s. So kind of, new people got to find him. The actual paintings he created on the show, there are thousands of them, quite literally. And from all of kind of an investigation in the New York Times found that a lot of his paintings are owned by the Kowalskis and they're actually just sitting in a Virginian warehouse. So
a lot of landscapes.
A lot of landscapes. Despite the large volume of originals, Bob Ross paintings are surprisingly scarce on the open art market. When they do appear, they often sell for thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. The big auction houses don't sell them at all. Yep. So they don't have a hand in it. Ross himself was famously opposed to his art becoming a financial instrument, and he didn't want people trading them like stocks. So to be fair, that stands up to what his legacy is. Story of Bob Ross is more than just an intricate, serene landscape. It reveals the hidden tension between the public persona and the private struggle of not only the art business of a personal one. It's truly a testament to his profound impact and also a stark reminder the complexities that can arise when a beloved public figure's powerful message meets the often unforgiving world of business. And intellectual property rights.
That's so true.
Yes, his legacy really forces us to consider the very nature of ownership in art. And
I will take that into consideration.
You know what? The next time you start a big conglomerate, Joel, can you just think about that,
I shouldn't
please?
be buying Bob Ross merch because it's all going to these Klobobskis.
Yeah, we should be trying to find Steve.
Some,
I know.
but I don't want them to get my money.
Yeah, maybe we just make bootleg versions.
Yeah.
We start making money off Bob Ross. We're like, bootleg.
We're the Kowalskis.
Cycle continues. So yeah, this is the story of Bob Ross, more than just happy little accidents, maybe.
Bob
Ross.
I loved that. I loved the story. I loved learning about him. The legal stuff, my brain kind of had to think a little bit. So I found that a bit tricky, but I did understand. I did end up understanding. But yeah, what an interesting character. Like, I'm positively gagging to go home and pop on some Bob Ross while I tidy up my apartment. I feel like it'll be really nice.
Really calming. A lot of people apparently use his voice to fall asleep with. Like, they'll pop on an episode and just like drift off.
I wonder if they use us to fall asleep.
Just could you imagine? But yeah, Bob Ross, what a ledge.
What a beautiful little story / a bit of nastiness in there, but at the end of the day, it's a celebration for Mr. Ross.
Mr. Ross.
Yeah, and it's good to see a good guy every now and again.
You know what? He was
the world
still
needs more good guys.
Yes, exactly. He wasn't. I was like, I'm at the top of the episode. I promise you, he's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
If anything, he's the nicest in the story.
God, not another one.
Oh, how many of them are there? As always, come find us on the TikTok, on the YouTube.
Come find us.
Come find us on the Instagram.
We're hiding.
Hello. Have a great week.
Have a great week.
Leave us a review. We love to see them.
Yes.
And we'll see you on the next one. Anything to add, Joel, before we sign off?
There's no such thing as a mistake. There's just happy accidents.
Hey! I like it. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.